Hi everyone, I'm Jimmy Muller. I'm the inventor and owner of Muller Choke Tubes. I'm here to talk to you today about barrel modification, mostly barrel modification. So what I mean by that is a lot of people out there get their barrels backbored or overboard, however you want to look at it. That's all well and good. People do it basically to take weight out of their barrels, and I guess for better balance, or maybe they think that it'll give them less recoil. But there's something that's very important to know about that that's extremely dangerous. I don't think anybody would get hurt, but it is dangerous in a sense, and it's very costly. So what happens is people get their guns backbored, and the people that are backboring these barrels don't bother to tell them that they can no longer use the chokes that they used to have with that barrel. The moment that you backbore a barrel, you've taken material out of it and made the bore diameter larger. So you've increased the ID diameter, the inside diameter. Well, if you've increased the diameter of your bore, you need to increase the diameter of your chokes also. And if you don't, you've got the risk of shooting the back of the choke, because that choke could cause an interference with the bore diameter now that it's bigger. And if you shoot the back of your choke, you'll probably bulge your barrel, and then you're going to go back to the place that backbored your barrel, and they're going to tell you it's not our problem. So it's up to you to know this. The reason that I bring this up is because it's been very costly to me, and I'm sure to every other choke manufacturer out there, because people don't understand this. So what happens is they bring their gun in and they get it backbored, or worse yet, let's assume they buy a used gun and they don't have a gunsmith measure the bore, so they don't know it's been backbored. They call me up, or they call one of the other choke manufacturers up, and they say, hey, I've got this gun and I need chokes for it. Well, they don't say that the barrel's been backbored, so we send them chokes that are good for that gun based on its bore diameter and its factory specs. Well, what happens is they put our chokes in the barrels, they go out and they pull a trigger and they peel the back of the choke. And then what happens is if they don't catch it in time, the shot goes between the choke and the barrel, and you end up bulging your barrel. Now, nobody's going to get hurt doing this. It's the choke end of the barrel right at the muzzle. The barrel's not going to blow backwards and hurt somebody. It's not like somebody shoved something in the barrel and it blew up back near their forearm, okay? All it's going to do is peel the choke, maybe bulge your barrel. The fact is your barrel's going to be no good. Now guess what's going to happen? You're going to come after the choke manufacturer and tell them that their chokes damaged the barrel. Their choke didn't damage your barrel. Your barrel was damaged because it was backbored, and you failed to tell the people that you bought the chokes from the proper information. So what's happened to me over the years is I've had several people have this situation happen, but because they were good customers of mine or even friends of mine, and they didn't know that the barrels were backbored, I bought them a new barrel and I gave them all new chokes. So you can imagine how frustrating that is. Not only did I have to examine their barrel, sometimes try to take the chokes out and try to fix the barrel, but ultimately I'd end up buying them a new barrel. Barrels are very expensive, and it's sad that that would have to happen to the choke manufacturer when nothing was wrong with their chokes. And it happens to every choke manufacturer out there, not just me. So one thing that's critical for you to know and for you to be responsible for is to know what your firearm is. So when you buy a gun, regardless of whether it's new or used, you need to know what choke it takes, what choke designation it takes. You need to know what your bore diameter is, and you need to know all that stuff. Because if you don't know that stuff, it's not very fair to the choke manufacturer when you call up and give them wrong information and something bad happens. So the last thing that we want is for you to have a damaged barrel or a damaged gun, because first of all, it doesn't look good for anybody. Second of all, you're down without a gun for a long time, which is not nice. And you've got to worry about trying to get another barrel on a gun that you've already had. So there's nothing good to come out of it. So anytime that you have any barrel work done, whether it be porting or whether it be backboring, doesn't matter what you have done. Make sure that you have a competent gunsmith measure that barrel when you're done and document it and understand what you have. So when you order chokes and you call us up and you say, hey, I've got a Krieghoff, well, if it's been Eisterized or Wilkinson has backbored it and the barrel went from 732 up to 740, you need to tell us that. We have custom chokes that will fit those barrels, but if you don't tell us, we don't know. And if you don't know, it's not our fault. So please, do yourself a favor, do us a favor as choke manufacturers. Make sure you know what you've got. If you buy a used gun, make sure that it's inspected and measured before you buy things for it. Know what you have. And on top of that, also, it's very important to know what choke system your gun takes. I've had a lot of people call me up, especially with Benellis and Berettas. Very confusing. They have no idea what to order. They don't know what their gun takes. You need to know that. So, give you an example. If you own a Benelli, your Benelli has 3 different choke systems. It could have the standard choke, which is a Beretta mobile choke, or the Benelli standard. You could have the cryo choke, which came in Sporting Clay's model between the years of 2006 and 2008, which is just like a Beretta Optima choke, except the Benelli has a 722 bore, where the Beretta had a 732 bore. So it's not the same choke whatsoever. You need to have a special cryo choke for that Benelli. Then most of the Benellis after that come with what's called a Cryo Plus. Now if you call Benelli, Benelli will tell you there's no such thing as a Cryo Plus. They're all cryo chokes. Benelli doesn't even know, as the gun manufacturer, what their own choke system is called. How could you know? So I'm here to tell you that there's a lot more behind it than meets the eye, and you need to know what you're ordering. So at least when you call up or when you order a choke, if you're going to order on the internet, through the website, if you don't know exactly what choke your gun takes, please don't order it through the website. Email us, call us, we will talk you through it. We will figure out exactly what you have. We will make sure that you get the right choke the first time, and nobody's going to have any problems. You're not going to damage your barrel. We're not going to have to worry about it not fitting and having to ship it back and forth and cost us both time and money. Just communicate. So there's no worries about you not knowing what it is, but make sure that you communicate with us about it. Don't guess. It could be a very dangerous situation, and certainly a very costly one at least. You get into Beretta chokes. Beretta has, let's see, 4 choke systems now. They have mobile, they have Optima, Optima Plus, and Optima HP. None of which CrossFit. You cannot put any one of those in any of the other guns. Okay? So you need to know what choke your gun takes. All right? Very, very important. And that goes for a lot of other guns too. I mean, a lot of the other guns cross-reference with other chokes. A lot of the off-brand guns that have their barrels made in Turkey or guns that are made in Italy. What they do is they don't want to make their own choke system because it's too costly. So what they do is they have the barrels threaded to accept a Beretta mobile choke, or maybe a Cesar Guerini choke, or a Browning choke. You don't know. So if you don't know, just contact us. We will be glad to tell you and teach you about it and explain to you what the bore is and what choke it takes and what the choke name is. So when you call us or even another choke manufacturer, you know what to ask for. But this is really important. Like I said, it may not be that dangerous, but it is going to cause problems for you, and it's going to cause problems for me. It's going to cause problems for other choke manufacturers, okay? So please know what you have, know what your bore diameter is. Even if it's a brand new gun, you should still know what the bore diameter is because there's tolerances in the industry. You know, Blaser, for example, they claim that they have two bore diameters, 732, 735. Sure, they have 2 different bore diameters, but it's actually just because of tolerances in the manufacturing field. They didn't spend millions of dollars to make 2 bore diameters that are 3 thousandths apart. It's absolutely absurd. It's just that some of their barrels are 731, so they call them 732, which covers 730 to 733. And then they've got barrels that came out of the factory bigger, where they machined them bigger. So they call those 735 bore. They could range anywhere from 733 to 737, okay? It's not because they made different barrels, it's just because of their manufacturing. So make sure you know what you have. Make sure when you call and you order chokes, you give the right information so you get what you need, so your gun patterns properly and you don't end up with a damaged barrel. Very important stuff. When you have your barrels ported, make sure whoever's porting them knows what they're doing and is very trained and very skilled. I know several barrels that have been ported through the choke tube because the person porting it didn't pay attention to what they were doing. That happened with somebody that's been in this industry for 35 years, okay? It happens. Mistakes happen, but you need to be aware of it. You need to pay attention. You need to know what's going on. This is a firearm. It's not a butterfly net, okay? Something bad could go wrong. So really be aware of what you're shooting. Be familiar with what your weapon is. Understand what bore diameter is, understand what choke it takes, understand what the choke tube is called. Is it a cryo? Is it a cryo plus? Is it an Optima, Optima plus, Optima HP? Understand that an Optima HP cannot be put into an Optima barrel because it's an Optima high performance. It does not go in an Optima barrel because if you put an Optima HP into an Optima barrel, it will screw in all the way to the bottom of the threads. The problem is it stops 3/8 of an inch from the bore, it cocks off a little bit sideways because it bottoms on the thread, and you blow the choke out of the barrel. Not the choke manufacturer's fault, okay? So you really need to know what you're doing with your gun. And if you don't know, you need to ask for assistance. So that's my little bit of a speech and a spiel about gun safety and knowing what you've got. Because a lot of accidents are happening out there, especially with all the manufacturers changing their choke designations and choke styles. Most recently, Browning changed from the Invector Plus, which was perfected for many years, to this new Invector DS, double sealing system, to try to keep their chokes from loosening and keep them clean. Thank you, my marketing. But I'm flattered. But the fact is, Invector DS does not cross-reference with an Invector Plus or an Invector. So please be aware of that when you order your chokes. All Brownings do not take the same chokes. All right? So just research it. Ask questions. Don't be embarrassed. Don't feel awkward about asking questions. It's way smarter to ask if you don't know. All right? So enough of my spiel. It's a safety thing. It's a smart thing, and I just want you to know that before you order chokes, make sure you know what you're getting. And just because you buy a gun used and it comes with chokes, never assume that the chokes that are with that gun are correct, okay? Because sometimes they're not. So have that bore measured, talk to us about what you've got, and we'll take care of it for you. If you're not sure what you've got, you're always welcome. Ship the barrel to me. I will inspect it. I will tell you exactly what it is. I will document it. I will send the right chokes back with that barrel for you. Make sure that you have everything right. Not a problem. You can get my address right through the website or contacting us at info@mullerchokes.com. I'm here for you, and I'm glad to help you.